Hey man, how was your flight back from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it was kind of annoying. A lot of crying.
Were there some kids on the flight?
Nah, Green Bay fans.
Ooh. Oh my God, we did it!
My dick is big, my dick is wide, my dick is huge.
That's right. Super Bowl, here we come.
So you're saying there's a chance?
We're ready to tear this baby up. Why? Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this very special episode of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic, Christian Temple, joined alongside, as always, by my good friend, the freshly returned from Pittsburgh and terrible towel twirling Trajan. How's it feel coming back on another winning flight from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Every time I go out there, it's good things happen.
Good things happen, yeah. I mean, you could have cherry picked maybe a better team or something like that this time, but keep the streak alive. I totally understand.
Sometimes there's more important things than a good game.
Winning's what matters, right?
Exactly.
Winning is what matters. All right. Well, we won't waste any time here, too. Before we go into that, obviously, as promised last week, we will have the review of the Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay Packers game, along with some stories of Trajan's travels there and his experience at Acrisure Stadium, followed alongside by my very own special version of I Don't Want to Talk About It. I brought it upon myself. We had Trajan do it a couple weeks ago. We'll be going through the top 5 most devastating losses, in my opinion, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan post 2000. So, without, oh my God, you're not fair sometimes.
I know.
All right. Well, without further ado, as you can see here, Pittsburgh took care of business at home against the Green Bay Packers with a final score of 23-19. Let's hear it from the man himself. How was your experience? Just start to finish, getting to Pittsburgh, and then go into the game.
I'm going to start off with a little bit of trivia, Temple.
Oh, okay.
When's the last time the Packers beat the Steelers at Steelers?
Would that be 1997?
That would be back with Bart Starr,
Whoa.
1970. They haven't beat the Steelers at Pittsburgh since 1970.
And they didn't this time either, did they?
They didn't this time either. So, good things there. I had a great time. It was great to be out with my cousins, going to that game.
Their first time, wasn't it?
It was their first time at Steelers. Shout out to Justin. He's been to many a game, especially Kansas City. But this was Jackson's first time, so we had a great time there. Went out. There's something magical about being in Pittsburgh because everywhere you look is black and yellow. It's great. Coming from a city where all the bumper stickers are Chiefs and everything there, it's great to see, a classy organization. And so we got there, had some fun around Pittsburgh. The game day, we got there early. We took the ferry across the rivers, over across the Ohio River there. It drops you right off in front of the stadium. You just walk right up. Got into the stadium really easily. Great seats right in the end zone. So that was awesome. Went around, looked at a few things, but then the game starts. And we received it, and it almost looked like that first kick was going to go out of bounds. It just barely snuck in. And we marched down the field. We had a little penalty help, but we marched down the field. Najee runs it in for a touchdown. Steelers up 7-0. And then there's a disappointing factor of we let them run down there and score right off the bat as well. I got to be right in the end zone for that one. So it was great view of that, I guess you would say. But then we go right back down and score again. I'm like, whoa, 14 points. Stop them. Going down, driving. This is where I jinxed myself. I'm like, can we see 21 points in the first half? We did not see 21 points in the first half. We got a field goal, but still 17-7 after our first half woes this year. I was like, whoa. Okay. We let them go down, score, but we blocked the field goal. Patrick Peterson came in clutch there. I don't know what the guard was doing, tackle or whatever he was, but it wasn't blocking, and I appreciate him for that. So halftime, go in 17-13, 4-point lead, feeling pretty good. It was the alumni week, so a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers there. Slash was there. Our buddy Porter Stewart. Joey Porter was there.
Can't believe you didn't take that with you and get it signed by him.
If I would have known, they didn't announce it first.
Oh, okay.
If I would have known, I would have tried. Funny story. They actually, after I bought my tickets for this game, they released the alumni tickets, and they were just a little bit more. And had I known, I would have totally got those. It would have been worth it. But, it is what it is. Maybe next year. But yeah. So halftime rolls around. We kick off to start. And the first half, the defense held pretty strong. They did what was needed to be done, basically. So pretty good there. But so they started out. Oh, what was it? A quarter two. They started out with a field goal. That's what it was. Got up 17-16, 1-point lead. We punt it. That one may or may not have had the incomplete pass. I'm pretty sure it was the incomplete pass that I'm sure other people will talk about. He was on the line of scrimmage. It was diagonal. So I think they went off of that. Hey, they made the call. I didn't make the call. They reviewed it. Who am I? To question that?
Yes, and the Tennessee Miracle was also a forward pass too, right?
Yes. And so then they get a field goal. I'm like, crap. 19-17. I started getting worried. But we go right back and answer him with another field goal of our own. Boswell, clutch. We get them to the punt. We punt. They punt. We get another field goal. And this is where I started getting nervous. It's towards the end of the game. They had been driving on us pretty good. We get an interception in the end zone. I was in that corner, like right there for the tip pass. I was holding my breath, seeing that ball come. I was like, oh, please don't let this be a touchdown. And all of a sudden, interception. I apologize to Jackson. I may have started shaking him at that point. It was great. But, we did great things with that interception and punted the ball. Couldn't just close out a game. We had to make things interesting.
Steeler football.
So they're going, and we got them pinned down towards the end zone. They have to work for this touchdown. I thought we had Love with the sack. Somehow he gets out. I'm already cheering. I was literally cheering. Yeah. Huge play, blown coverage, and they are just knocking at our door. Thankfully, that blocked extra point makes them have to go for the touchdown. 23-19. and they're getting it down there. We got them 4th and 2. Stop. They get the 4th down conversion. 17 seconds, no timeouts. They spike the ball. It is crunch time. So once they spike it, there's 3 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they take a timeout. The Steelers do. Apparently because Minka didn't like the call. Well, we got some Packers fans around us, and they're saying they start saying "Go Pack, go!" And I could not handle that. So, started the chant of "Here we go, Steelers." It was probably the happiest moment of my life. better than my $2.
And the truth floweth forth. Hold on. On behalf of Rainey, I gotta throw a flag on that.
There's a flag on the field.
There's a flag on unhusbandlike conduct on Trajan, 15 yards. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go to jail. Go straight to jail.
But Steelers fans, we get into it. The play happens. Interception. Now, I will say this. KZ, kneel the ball. Game's over. What are you doing? You know, he could have got hit wrong. He fumbles it.
Someone got hit wrong. Someone got hit wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And I legit thought that was Matt Canada that got trucked at first, and then I saw the replay.
Instead, he took out a 70-year-old man.
You got the wrong bald man.
Yeah. So our special teams guy gets clobbered. There's a flag on the field, so I'm kind of holding my breath like, what just happened here? Is there going to be some BS here that they get another shot? But no, it was actually on unnecessary roughness on Green Bay. So no defensive penalty, game's over. And holy cow, that was awesome. To the not so pretty part. Okay, we got away with the win. But Kenny Pickett, he missed some throws. Now, granted, there's some wide receivers that didn't catch some throws. But mostly it was Pickett, a little happy feet on there, and just missing some throws that we needed to have. He's 14 for 23 on the day, 126 yards. No tuds. Biggest thing, though, he played clean. He played no interceptions. As opposed to Jordan Love, who threw 2 costly ones right at the end. So, the biggest thanks goes to Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris.
Big day for both of them.
Both of them. Najee Harris is number 3 in plays over 25 yards this year. I did not know that.
Wow.
I would have never thought.
I wouldn't have had him in my top 10.
Either 20 yards or something like that, but he was number 3. Jaylen came up big with a touchdown, 15 carries, 101 yards, 20 yards for his long. Najee, 16 carries, 82 yards, so a little less efficient, but still he got a touchdown, and 24 for his long. Kenny Pickett also made some things happen on his legs there. He got 11-yard scramble, so he got 16 yards, and Calvin Austin, with a darn jet sweep, got 6 yards. So 205 total rushing yards on the day, and that's pretty darn good. George Pickens made some key plays.
He was the leading receiver.
Deontay had a huge one there. So it's just we got to get some more consistency. Freiermuth is coming back, but I really think they're underusing Darnell Washington. I mean, such a huge target. I mean, you can't miss him. Surely there's a soft spot in the middle of the field somewhere that we could get him involved. Maybe. But it is what it is. TJ Watt, 1 sack. Props to Green Bay. They held our defensive line and our front 7 in check. They did very well on that. Some not so good news on the day is we do have a major season injury. K'Wan Alexander, he is out. So I believe it was ACL. No, Achilles, actually.
Achilles, yeah.
Achilles, yeah.
Yep.
So that hurts. I mean, our linebacker core is taking a beating right now. Holcomb is out. He had a season injury, ending injury last week, and now with Alexander out, it's starting to get a little more thin in that center of the field. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us in the long run. But overall, happy. Went to Pittsburgh. Last thing I'll cover is the next day, my dad and I, which this was his first time at Pittsburgh for a game, and it was awesome. He got to experience Renegade. It was great. We went through the Hall of Fame, and that was awesome. You know, seeing they start you out with a video, kind of going through the story of the Steelers, how it came to be. It's spoken through. Mean Joe Green, Franco, I believe Hines Ward, and some other guy, but it was good. It was a great time.
Absolutely, it's always one of the best feelings going to the home stadium of your favorite team, and like you said, you know, it's not something you get to do, you know, every other weekend if you as much as you probably like to, but when you do, especially when it's with family members, whether they are for or against the team that you're going for, it's still a pretty special experience, no matter what.
Oh yeah, no, it was a great time. We got some new stuff here.
Some additions. There you go.
How many championships we got there? Yeah,
oh boy.
Why do you see that?
You have to dust the cobwebs off the logos on there too.
Hey, it happened.
It happened, exactly. Can't take that away from you. Alrighty, well, we can take away the happiness and bring in the pain now for me too, because now I got to go through some trauma that I've experienced as a Chiefs fan over the years, and he's licking his lips, he's
I've been looking forward
rubbing his
to
hand. He's been looking forward to this, so let's not wait any longer. Welcome to this week's edition, a very special edition of I Don't Want to Talk About It. And as we brought up at the beginning part of the show, I'll be talking about the top 5 most devastating Chiefs losses that I've experienced post 2000. I have a few honorable mentions I want to bring up, so in no particular order on these. I'll start with this one. It was middle of October in 2015. I took my soon-to-be wife to her very first Chiefs game, and it was against none other than the Chicago Bears. So, you know, it was one of those games where I did kind of cherry pick it, because I thought the Bears would be kind of a maybe not a real pushover, but this is a very winnable game for Kansas City. I'll say that. We go to that game, and they're off to a great start. Chiefs you're rolling, everything's going good too. But then the tragedy happens. Jamal Charles, on a non-contact play, tears his ACL. And this is the second time it's happened, because he had that setback a few years previously. And he's out for the rest of the game, and it seemed like it just took the wind out of the Chiefs for the rest of the game too. And the Bears come back on a game-winning touchdown late in the fourth quarter, win 18-17. Or was it 19-17? I don't know. A PTSD. I can keep it on my mind. Man, just right at the very end, they steal it away. The funniest part of that game, too, I still remember this, was there was a group of Bears fans. There's like 3 of them. And they weren't like, you know, being obnoxious or anything like that too, but one of them was so sloshed, so drunk, so wasted that he slept through the whole game until the Bears got that game-winning touchdown, and then all of a sudden he was up and he was happy and all that too. Like, he did not move a muscle that whole game. He was in the seat right in front of me, just passed out the whole time, and right at the end when they score, he's up and around, and it was like he was there the whole time. It's like, oh my gosh. So glad he got to have a happy memory at that game. Honorable mention number 2. It's the year 2003. Kansas City Chiefs start off undefeated, go 9-0 to start the season. They lose one to the Bengals. They drop a couple more. They end up the season 13-3, and they got a bye. They got a home game. And in comes into town is Peyton Manning and the Colts. But you know what? It's fine. We've got a high-powered offense, and the Colts got a high-powered offense. This will be a fun game, right? And I was supposed to go to this game. However, I was not the best academically sound student in my school, so that was kind of the little carrot that was dangling in front of me by my dad. If I get my grades straightened up, then he'll take me to the game. And unfortunately, I did not. Which honestly, that game was freezing, so I probably wouldn't have had a great time. Even more so after what happened too. So, but I watched the game on TV. My dad does end up going to the game with a couple friends of his. I watched the game on TV, and man, it's one of the most fun games I can remember as a kid. It's just back and forth, offensive battle, not a single punt in this game. It's like one of the few playoff games that ever happened where a punt never happened. I still remember getting, I've almost got goosebumps right now when Dante Hall scored that 82-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, and seeing Dick Vermeil jumping up and down the sidelines. He was so proud of his boy getting to the end zone too, and that was supposed to turn the momentum, but unfortunately Peyton Manning was in control of the situation, drives down the field, gets the game-winning touchdown, and Chiefs have one more chance to get down the field, but they just not enough timeouts, and the Colts continue their playoff dominance that they would hold on to until the year of 2018, which is a happy memory. Me taking my dad to his first Chiefs playoff win that he got to see live, because he's like, as I mentioned in the past, he was at the one in 2003. He was at the one in 95, the Lynn Elliott game. Dear God Almighty. But being responsible to take him to go see a Chiefs winning playoff game, especially against the Colts, that is a memory that will live strongly and very fondly in my heart forever. So, but yes, this 2003 Colts game as a kid, I was 9 years old. That one hurt, because that was like the first time that I could like cognitively remember a Chiefs team doing good in a season and actually making it to the playoffs. Playoffs? What are playoffs? I don't know what these are. So... Yep, and this one, I know you've been waiting for this one, so I'll let you have it. It is the Steelers field goal game. That's all I got to say.
Steelers field goal game, yeah.
That's all I got to say. And the obvious flop by James Harrison on that game. So
maybe Fisher was a bad tackle.
Hey, that's Super Bowl winning tackle, Eric Fisher to you.
Oh, I just loved all the years of you yelling out Fisher.
It wasn't just me that my mom would always do that too, which was hilarious. It's funny too, because like the year after he left too, in 2020, whenever any offensive lineman would get called for something, she would just yell Fisher just for fun. Alrighty, well, you ready to hear this list?
I'm ready to hear this list. I'm dying.
Dying to hear this list. Okay.
On my knees. I'm begging.
All righty, here we go. Starting at number 5, the 2021 AFC Championship game. Chiefs versus the Bengals. Oh, man. High hopes after this one. The week before was arguably the greatest playoff game in NFL history. The 13-second game. The Chiefs, 13 seconds, not a prayer to come back for this, right? They drive down the field, they tie the game, they win the coin toss, and they drive down the field again, get the game-winning touchdown, like almost universally agreed upon, one of the best playoff games in history. Then they got to play the Bengals. Okay, that's easy. Yeah, they barely beat the Titans, right? The Titans were the number 1 team going into that year, right? So this should be easy, right? Oh, my goodness. 21-3. 21-3. And they just fall apart in the second half. Mahomes running around like he doesn't know what he's doing. Goes to... Well, actually, the Bengals take the lead. Harrison Butker kicks a game-tying field goal that sends it to overtime. And then what happens? Mahomes chucks it down the field. It was the final time for screw it Tyreek Hill down there somewhere, and this time he failed us. It bounced off his hands and into the hands of the defender. They drive down the field. Evan McPherson, chip shot, game-winning field goal. I remember sitting in the chair, and as soon as the field goal went through the uprights, click, turn the TV off, and I just sit there in silence for probably just a minute or two, but it felt like an eternity. It's like, it felt like this. just the awkward silence there. So yes, and that was the start of the doubt that settled in the offseason, especially when Tyreek Hill left the Chiefs and went to Miami, but also led to the greatest retooling / rebuilding season in NFL history, which led to that right there and this right here, baby. So that one had a happy ending, which actually technically all of these technically have a happy ending to them. So so there you go. 2021 AFC Championship game. The Chiefs obviously redeemed themselves in the AFC Championship game the very next year, which I was very happy to see in person, especially taking my dad and my wife to that one. But yeah, that one hurt. That championship game, that hurt. Oh, you want to talk about hilarious? Here's this one. You'll just absolutely be on the floor laughing. Number 4, Super Bowl 55. COVID season. Chiefs, best record in the league. They go through the Steelers. They go through the Bills. They go through who was the other team? I should have said the other team is the Steelers. I screwed up my own joke. Oh, well. Yeah, oh, well. is what it is. They beat the Bills in the AFC Championship game. So back-to-back AFC champions now get a chance to go back to the Super Bowl, become back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And this was the year where our offensive line was just devastated by injury, and it showed. It showed in that Super Bowl from start to finish. Mahomes running for his life on every single play. It seemed like the Buccaneers defense was dominant that year and definitely were in that Super Bowl. But it's hilarious because the fact that Mahomes made some of the greatest throws in Super Bowl history, but his receivers couldn't catch to save his life. He was standing on his head for them. And it's amazing too because that side angle throw after he did that in the Super Bowl was added in to the Madden game the very next year because of how iconic that image is of him throwing like that. And it's just, he couldn't do it all himself. His offensive line, it was just non-existent. The receivers, they weren't there either. And our defense, Tom Brady just picked it apart start to finish. It was not a fun game. I did turn that game off with 5 minutes left. I just couldn't, after the last turnover on downs by the Chiefs, couldn't take it anymore. I probably could have turned it off a lot sooner, but because it was 31-9.
Okay, I knew it, but
I know, but I will indulge you because you had to go through this previously. I will indulge you. So, but not all doom and gloom, because as I mentioned, a couple years later, Chiefs are back in the Super Bowl and they win it all. So there you go. Number 3. Oh boy. The 2017 wild card game versus the Tennessee Titans. Another game where the Chiefs are up 21-3 going into halftime. So, my dad was also at this game. I was not. And my buddy Colton Alexander, the rock star, one half of the pair of rock stars. Big Tennessee Titans fan. So, that was a good game for him. Yep, go up 21-3 and actually had a chance to be 28-3. Which, boy, that would have been a lot more embarrassing if they would have blew that one. Marcus Mariota fumbles the ball, and the Chiefs recover it and will take it all the way for a touchdown, but they blow it dead because they say forward progress. Ridiculous. And probably one of the most talked about wild card playoff plays of all time. Marcus Mariota's pass being deflected back to himself, and he dives and touches the pylon with the ball. God, that stings just watching that play back too, because I didn't think that was legal. I really did not know that was legal at the time. I thought if you caught your own ball, you can't throw it again, but you can still advance it if you catch it back. And so I was like, well, I learned something. I hate that I learned something, but I learned something. But yes, the Titans come back. Harrison Butker has a chance to extend the lead. He misses a field goal. So here's the funny thing. I was at work for most of that game. And I came home, and this is during the time when my mom and the stepdad were separated, so she was at her own apartment too. So I come home, and she's looking at me. It's like, all right, you better get in here, start cheering your butt off right now, because she could see it too. It's coming. It's like, oh no, and probably one of the funnier moments. It's funny in retrospect now. One of the funnier moments was a fumble, and it was down. I'm not gonna say it was a bad call or anything like that. He was down. I was excited in real time, but it was a fumble recovered by Derek Johnson taken to the house, and it was hilarious because the commentator on the TV lost his voice calling that because he got so excited. Saying it's like touchdown Kansas City. He loses his voice. It's like he hit puberty all over again. But yes, the right call was made. Derrick Henry's knee was down before he fumbled. Man, what a play that what a memory in Chiefs Kingdom that would be if that play would have stood and the Chiefs would have won that game. And it's crazy to think that Pat Mahomes was on the sideline for that game too. That was his rookie season. But yep, that was an Alex Smith game, and it was ultimately the final Alex Smith game as a Kansas City Chief. He would then be traded on to the Washington football team at the time. But yeah, that one, I was sad to see Alex go because I wasn't, and no one else really was too. It's like, I'm not ready to say goodbye to him though. Like he helped bring us back. We were 2-14 before he came by, and maybe he just needs one more year to get us to the promised land. But obviously, and rightfully so, Andy Reid saw what Pat Mahomes was capable of doing and pulled the trigger on him to start. And 2018, what a season that was. What a way to make a first impression. And here we are today. So, but yeah, it's a shame that Alex Smith's Kansas City Chiefs career had to end on a game like that. So
it's also legendary for another reason. Do you want to explain that?
Do I? Oh, I might have forgotten why.
This is where.
Oh no! Wait, now I know.
Started.
This is where you got this started. Yes, so got a little bit of a thing between Trajan and I too, where we're very hopeful for each other. We're really good friends with each other. I mean, we're very supportive and everything too. And when the other team's playing, it's always good to just give them that little vote of confidence and say, "Hey, man, your team's got this." It's just good to just say, like, there's absolutely no way that your team screws this up. This is an easy one for them, right? Just speak it into existence, too. Yep, this is... Here's the worst part. It sometimes works.
It does.
That's the scary thing. And it almost worked against the Steelers this past week.
It did.
I didn't say it quite with as much... snarkiness. There we go. I was trying to combine words smirk or snarky, because I wanted you to have a good time. I really didn't want to see you go to a loss. I mean, it would be funny, but at the same time, it's like it's never fun to go to a game where your team loses, especially when you spend all that money to do so. So I kind of said, it's like, well, it looks like your team's got this. And then right after that was the incomplete pass that was almost called a fumble. So,
my heart. I just remember texting back, "Damn it, Josh, let me have it."
And full disclosure, I couldn't watch the game, so I had no idea that had happened. So it's just more hilarious that like I.
Oh,
alrighty.
But it did work for me versus the Broncos this year.
It did. God, yeah. Darn you. Darn you to heck. All right. Well, you ready for number 2?
I am so ready for number 2.
All righty. Well, number 2 was possibly the worst birthday present of all time. The 2013 AFC wildcard game against the Indianapolis Colts. Oh boy, there's the Colts again. 28-point lead. God. Blown away. And this is also, God, it's always the stupid plays that you remember too. I don't even remember who the running back was. But the Colts running back fumbles at the goal line, and it bounces back. It defies all physics. It bounces back to Andrew Luck, who picks it up and dives across for a touchdown, and that's ultimately what sets the comeback in motion. And it's, oh God, it's just, at that point, that was when I started asking, are we just cursed? Are the Chiefs legitimately cursed? Seriously. Because there's just no way this BS just keeps happening. And then years after that, the next 5 years to be exact, it kept happening. So, yes, the final score of that one, 45-44, on my birthday. The worst part is I went to a Thunder game that night, and the Thunder got destroyed at that game too. So it was legit the worst birthday ever for me.
Who was the leading receiver for that one?
Who was my leader? That was probably Dwayne Bowe, if I remember right. It was either Dwayne Bowe or Donnie Avery. It was one of those two.
150 yards for Dwayne Bowe that game.
Yep, game of his life, and man.
Isn't that the game that got him the contract with Cleveland?
It probably did, honestly. Well, I think Dwayne was back in 2014.
Okay.
I think it was back in 2014. I think 2015 is when he left. But yeah, that was because 2015. I think we got Macklin. So that's and obviously there were a lot of fans that were making fun of the Chiefs for getting Andy Reid. He's like, oh boy, here comes Mr. Clock mismanagement. Here comes the playoff choker again too, as if he didn't take the Eagles to 4 straight NFC Championship games in a Super Bowl. Yep. But that's when it's like, oh boy, here we go. It's the Andy Reid show again. Great regular seasons, but disappointment in the playoffs. Here it comes. But here's the deal: as a Chiefs fan, coming off of a Todd Haley, Romeo Crennel, Herm Edwards, everything too, I would take that. We got back to the playoffs. So that was pretty good. But God, that's the way we were ousted in the playoffs that year. That just, I still have nightmares about that, man. So,
yep. Oh.
But ultimately, yes, Andy Reid did get his ring. Got 2 of them, as a matter of fact. And speaking of which, right before he got that ring, it's the number 1 most devastating game. And it went a little something like this. Offsides, defense, number 55.
Oh, man.
The 2018 AFC Championship game against our old friend Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. So, I mentioned it was pretty wholesome taking my dad to the playoff game against the Colts where they won. It was weird seeing the Chiefs at an AFC Championship game. Is that a thing? Let me check the script here. Hold on a second here. It's like the Chiefs are in a championship game? That's unheard of. Except for 1993, but still I wasn't even alive at that point. So, actually I was alive. I think it was like 3 weeks old. So, but yeah, we're in a AFC Championship game. Holy smokes, how did this happen, right? Not only that, we're winning. We're winning the AFC Championship game. Oh my gosh. Tom Brady just threw an interception. We're going to the Super Bowl. Nope. God, I can't believe that. D Ford. And that's the worst part. He was not a factor in that play at all. Oh, just all he had to do was line up correctly. And we would have played the Rams in the Super Bowl. That would have been great, too, because that's the same year that NFL Throwback just uploaded this today, the top 10 Monday Night Football games, and guess who won number 1? It was the Rams versus the Chiefs at the LA Coliseum. That was listed as the best Monday Night Football game, according to them, apparently. And we're going to get a rematch for the Super Bowl. Nope. Oh, God. And then the Tom Brady effect happens. He picks apart the defense, drives down the field. Well, this is an overtime, obviously, but touchdown, Ryan Burkhead, overtime. Hello, Super Bowl. We'll never forget that call by Jim Nantz. And the Patriots go back to the Super Bowl and win their 6th Super Bowl, tying the Pittsburgh Steelers. So you have a reason to be angry at D4 too, because you could have still been the only one. You could have still been the only one.
I thought for sure that the Rams were better than the Patriots.
Nope.
I didn't think there was any way that they were going to win.
Nope.
So I was hoping the Patriots were going to win.
Oof. They were not good in that Super Bowl. So full disclosure, I was so sad I didn't even watch the Super Bowl that year. It was crazy because I did watch the Super Bowl in the 2021 AFC Championship when the Bengals won. I did watch that Super Bowl, but I just could not bring myself to watch the Patriots and Rams Super Bowl that year. It was the first Super Bowl since, I think the one in 99 was the first one I remember watching on TV and never missed one since. But that was the first one that I openly would just, no, absolutely not. I will not watch this game. And apparently, like, a lot of people were the same way, because I think that was, like, the lowest rated Super Bowl, like, post-2000.
Yeah.
It's up there, I think.
Oh, the Rams just laid an egg.
Oh, God.
I mean, I think any AFC opponent would have gone in there and won that game.
Which pissed me off even more. It was like, if they would have played like that, we would have steamrolled them. God dang it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Alrighty. Well, are you happy now? You got to wallow in my misery a little bit too.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've been pulling up each of the games that you mentioned box scores.
I can't even do that to myself anymore. I can't do that to myself.
It's funny because they have the videos going of the game. Right. And so I got to see, the Titans guy running off, shouting. It was great. I'm glad you thought of this segment. It really hurt. You can understand why I was bummed out the rest of the night after you made me do this. But yeah, no, that was good. That was good.
There you go. All right, I'll take my bow here too. Alrighty. Well, what do the Steelers have on tap this week?
We have a divisional opponent, keeping it in the family. We're going to be going against the Cleveland Browns
without Deshaun Watson, apparently. Yep. It has been announced he's getting season-ending shoulder surgery. So,
I don't feel sorry for Deshaun. I'm sorry, but I don't. I do feel sorry for Browns fans because, Chubb goes out and you're still winning games, but you could have won a lot more probably if you had Chubb in.
Mm-hmm.
Then now Deshaun, right when he showed promise, against Baltimore, and to lose him. So I mean, they're at 6-3. We're at 6-3. Should be a good game. We're at the dog pound. Now, my sympathy for the Browns is over with at that point. Now, moving on to, I would love nothing more to show than the ownership is still in place of the Browns. New year, same thing. We own you. And I would love that.
So, what if the Matt Canada of old shows up and the Browns defense is the sole reason that
We got sideline Canada now. We're great.
There you go. As long as he stays down there. Don't even let him.
He's already preparing his bust.
Don't even let him go to the bathroom. Just he stays there. Even at halftime, he just stays on the sideline the whole
Stays
time.
on that sideline.
There you go. Alrighty. Well, we've got prime time Monday Night Football, the rematch of Super Bowl 57. There it is, right there, and there too, and the shirt and all that too. Got the Philadelphia Eagles coming to town. It's the best team in the AFC versus the best team in the NFC. Primetime matchup. It's going to be kind of a sticky and rainy game, so that might come into effect. We shall see. But really looking forward to this one too. This is one of those games when the schedule was announced that I circled immediately. Says I like come hell or high water, I have to be at this game, and I am super excited to be there for this game. Win, lose, or draw, because like I said, it's two of the best teams going at it. It's going to be a good time. It's prime time. It's Arrowhead Stadium. Get excited, baby.
Yep. No, I'm looking forward to that game. I think it will be a very good one, especially since Chiefs are known for running the ball.
Well, let's see if McKinnon or Pacheco have a breakout game in the weather tonight. Or tomorrow, not tomorrow, fucking Monday. I wish it was tomorrow. Let's get this going, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
The exciting game. Alrighty, well, that is our show this week, everyone. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like to. Tell all of your friends. And we will see you all next week.